Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining us again. We're live, and we've got a double week episode for you. Last week, for our Sunday football review, week 18, we had some internet issues here at the studio. So we're combining it with week 19 because there's just so much to unpack. And it'll be fun to kind of do as we experience another big game in the college football bracket. Before we kick things off, I promised Doug I'd cut him a break because he's our only loser from last week's parlay pick of the week. And this week, we all lost, all three of us. So instead of Doug having to drink 2 at the end of the episode, I'm cutting him a break, and we're letting him do 1 at the beginning of the episode, and then we'll all do ours at the end. So for those of you who don't know, we do a parlay pick each week because we want to make you money. And if we lose, the punishment to incentivize us to deliver on that promise, the loser's got to drink an ice. And Doug, well, you could cut to yourself if you feel compelled. Get this thing over with. It's not even moving.
Actually, no. I was the only one who didn't lose last week. That's why I didn't have to do 2. Because if I lost, I would have had it done 2.
Right.
It's so cold.
That's
guys.
right. The cold is terrible.
I wish I. God, Doug, I feel bad. You have to sit down.
It's so cold.
Yeah, that is terrible.
Yeah, all of a sudden it hit me. I was like, oh yeah, he's not standing.
It's not as easy.
No, it's not. Like you're constricting.
And it's
yourself.
cold.
Yes, and it's cold. Big breath. Big breath.
Big breath. Well, Doug delivered on the challenge.
It's so cold.
Because,
So cold.
but again, it's because we need to step it up. And I think this week we got ourselves a real winner. So hang on to the end of the episode so you could get in on this parlay pick of the week. Now, because college football is going on as we speak, Oregon, Indiana, this is going to be a big game. I think both teams have a solid chance of surprising us. Indiana, I think, is probably the favorite. But guess what? Oregon, don't count them out. And this will be a great game for the Big Ten. I'm excited to see how it goes. But boy, has the bracket not necessarily panned out how people
This is
anticipated.
the most interesting year of college football in the last 2 decades.
Yeah, it's
For sure.
Like,
For sure.
Like you don't have Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, or Clemson in the Final Four.
That's crazy.
Like I pick a year when that wasn't the case. At all.
Right.
Like one of those 4 teams didn't make the Final Four.
Well,
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It shows what the transfer portal and the NIL deals could really cause a shakeup in college football. It is interesting. It's really
well, and you know what I
surprising to see.
appreciate the most? This is a little bit of an outdated bracket. It's not indicating how Miami just dominated.
Miami won last night.
And they're showing to be a force in this bracket.
Miami could be this year's Ohio State. Your low seed.
This was so frustrating. This disgusted me.
Dude, he is on something, and I know exactly what he's on.
It's called Charlie Sheen.
Yes, he's on a lot of Charlie Sheen right now. The only thing I'm really glad Ohio State does not have a former professional.
One of these.
Yeah,
We don't have one of these.
I like Michael Irvin. He's funny. Like he is a character. He's a good commentator. He's an interesting fellow.
Not a fan. Me
Just
personally,
don't take
I'm not a
fully
fan.
away from the whole experience for the team. I mean, this is their first championship appearance since Ohio State beat them back in 2003.
Right.
So, yeah.
Not to totally pause our conversation on college football. Sorry, I'm doing this a little out of order, but I forgot.
There's just so much.
There is so much, and we are what should have been the second episode into the year.
Yes.
I wanted to bring in the new year with this clip. It's incredible. So Scott Van Pelt was kind of running a ESPN New Year's Eve thing.
Yes.
And boy, this is just prime television. So for the first episode of the year, Happy New Year.
Yeah, live makeouts on SportsCenter.
Yeah.
Get into it. Oh, what do we got? We got love in the air.
Oh, wow, bro.
Almost slipped, saved his career.
He's smiling too. He's
having
laughing
a good
through it.
time.
He's like, I saved
Happy New
it.
Year,
I
everybody.
can't get me.
Two guys kissing. Whoa, what are we? Love in the air. It was perfect save, Scott Van Pelt.
He's a true professional at what he does.
Oh,
And right
but he's also a real human. And again, just perverse pushing into our society. We have to force our. This is what society is, that you have a real reaction and you have to look at the charade we're putting on. Whoa, hey, we're happy. Love is in the air.
We're out here.
We out here. And then you got Joe Burrow. That's the best part. Flacco's
Flacco's just frozen. Flacco's thinking in his head, man, I'm in a young man's game.
Yeah.
He's like, wow, maybe I've overstayed my welcome.
To just
I don't know if you have the clip, so I don't want to jump the gun here, but so I'm just going to say I thought the Bengals did a very classy thing, though, in their last game. Momentarily, and even though Browns still ended up winning with Joe Flacco putting him in the game for like a play, which could have been his last play in the league. They put him in the game for like one play.
I didn't know that.
Converted. It was like
I
on a
missed
4th and
that.
1. They did a 4th and 1 QB sneak, and they put him in instead of Joe. And
oh, cool.
it's kind of one of those, hey, we don't know if he's going to play again. Let's get him on the field one more time.
Right,
Why not?
right.
It was a very kind gesture that the Bengals did in a competitive game. Like realistically, most teams wouldn't do that. So I thought that was a very nice gesture by them.
So speaking of which, let's talk about the Bengals Browns game. Miles takes the notch up on the sack record,
Oh yeah.
makes history, gonna secure his place in the Hall of Fame.
First down. Burrow.
I love how Burrow made a business decision
Okay,
doing it.
can we all agree he definitely?
I think it was a business decision by Burrow. I think Burrow knew the pocket collapsed quick, and he's like, just get down before I get smacked. And Miles just happened to be there. I don't think it was an intentional sign.
I'm hoping you're right, but it also is two guys that are
Yeah, 'cause-
friendly with each other.
Well, let's
I don't think they're that
remember the
Fair.
original sack record. Was it
That's his dad.
Brett Favre? Like,
Brett Favre's is the famous one. With
yeah,
Michael Strahan.
they say he gave up and gave it to him, kind of.
He was
So
literally running left of the pocket and just like kind of fell to the ground. And with Burrow, it's like you can see he stepped up, the D tackle rode left, and you can tell he's like, I'm going down. I'm not taking a hit right here. I'll live to play another play. Miles was just the one closest and got the record for it.
So look at this crazy celebration that just kept going on after the game. But Doug, the play that Doug just made sure. Oh, my God,
Wait. Indiana pick six. Indiana pick six already.
that's huge.
right
well,
at the
that's-
start of the game.
Talk about to set the tone.
Sorry. I had to
Yeah,
cut it
no,
off.
literally,
Saw
we're
it.
in the first 10 seconds of the game.
No, I was like,
That's
first play,
crazy.
pick six.
Wow. With that being said, though, Doug was vehement that we include this in today's episode. So we had Shelby Harris as soon as Miles got his.
Oh, he's under pressure.
He's going to the referee. High five.
I love it because I don't know if Alex has this clip ready either. I might pull a Will here, but Alex Pierce getting ejected for grazing a ref, and there's him high fiving the ref. I just come on. If the two hadn't happened the same week, I wouldn't
It's
thought it'd be
ironic,
so
but
funny.
I think the reason too is Alec Pierce was getting in the ref's face and kind of nudged him like that was a bad call or something like that. Not saying it was justified to eject him from the game. I don't agree with that at all. But it's like Jackson Dart earlier in the year. They scored a touchdown. He just went right up to the ref and just I think there's a case to be made for each one.
So what's interesting is, like I had pointed out, there was quite an extensive celebration from the teams, or really the Browns sideline after Myles Garrett got his sack record. But I think Zach Taylor might have a bit of an argument to be made here.
Long conversation with the officials after the Garrett sack. What was going on there? What were you
There's 5 minutes left in our season. We're playing for our lives here. And I was never told that we're going to stop the game. And in a critical moment like that, and the refs just said that they made a decision that they were going to stop the game. And they said they tried to do it as quickly as possible. I didn't feel that. We didn't sub.
that.
We're trying to be on the ball and go and play with tempo. And the umpire just held the ball so that we couldn't do anything. And I'm yelling at Joe, get on the ball. We didn't sub. We're going. And that we couldn't play. And so, again, trying to get an answer was not easy. They just said that they made a decision as a crew to stop the game when that happened. I guess it didn't matter when it happened. It just, they were going to stop the game and let it happen.
And you weren't informed of that?
No, I was never informed of that. They didn't say one word. We meet with them in the 90-minute meeting before the game. They didn't.
It's
They never
almost
said
like
one
the
word.
game is scripted, guys. Oh my God, we're all realizing.
No, I don't think it's that.
Yeah.
I agree with him at the end there saying if they had alerted him before the game, and then you notice, all right, Miles got a sack, he could have then taken extra time to be like, all right, let's drop a play or
Right.
something like that. Instead,
Well,
he's
at
like, I
least
have a-
then it's a part of his game strategy. He's allowed to, he's able to.
at any point in this game, I
anticipate.
might have an extended period because, something historic happened. Instead, it's in the moment. No one said anything. And he's like, guys, like the game clock is like, are we about to get a penalty here for delay a game because this is going on? I can understand why he's upset.
Well, and again, that's why I also really do feel like when Jamar Chase makes his case, it holds water.
Middle of the
Do
game.
that. I never knew you could let the whole team get on your field. That's like me catching my 10th pass and the whole team running on the field. We're gonna get flagged. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? But congrats to him and everything. But they got to call a flag on that play.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's one thing to say, okay, the refs made an executive play and they let you know ahead of time. That makes it fair, not right. I still think either way, they shouldn't be allowed to do this.
But like
You
said,
should
it
never
being-
stop the game for any type of record.
But like you said, it being fair, at least it's all right. Both sides are aware.
But
of the
again,
situation.
this is the key of linguistics. That makes it fair.
yes,
That definitely doesn't make it right. And in the spirit of football, in the spirit of this game, like all of the game is momentum and tension. And I get it. They really didn't have much running on this game.
Oh, but if this was for like a playoff spot, like a season, I'd be furious.
So I'm sorry, the principle stands.
No, I'm not saying
Football's
the principle
football.
I'm not saying the principle doesn't stand, and I'm in agreement with you. It's just more for the refs. It's one of those cases where it's like the refs. It's like, guys, if you are planning on this, why would you not let the other coach know ahead of time?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you at least?
Well, here's
say
the reality.
something?
I don't think they were planning on it. I think it happened. Like the celebration got a life of its own. And, now they're putting Miles on their shoulders and they're carrying them to the sidelines and they're like, just pick up the ball, let him finish. So I don't even know if it was like a planned thing, but that's why I'm saying like rules are rules.
Especially at that point, like just go to like a TV timeout. Just get at that point, give Cincinnati like a little timeout.
But
Yeah, next
that's the
minute and a
thing,
half.
though, is like what at the end of the day, the ref realizes it's a celebration. It's a TV moment right there. Like Miles on the shoulders, that's a TV moment.
Right. Then the refs call a TV timeout. All right, Cincinnati could go their side, draw up a play. Instead, Cincinnati's getting up to the ball, thinking like, hey, we got 40 seconds. We got to get a snap off here. Just to be told, like, oh no, we're gonna let this go on. It's like, okay, so when is the game clock gonna start again? When are we gonna actually rather than like, hey, before the game, if he gets a sack, we're calling a TV timeout right then and there. You're not penalized a timeout. They're not penalized a timeout. We're going right to a TV timeout. We're going to extend it, regardless if people think that's right or not. At least, like you said, it's fair to both sides that they're alerted to it.
Yeah. So as far as that goes, I love that you've got the coach, a star player. They're making great arguments in the post-game interview. And then here's Joe Burrow.
Hey, Joe.
How many times does he brush his hair in this?
Go ahead, I got the door.
How you wanted to end this season, just your thoughts on the game.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
we just beat ourselves today. False starts, turnovers,
That's got to be.
mental
It's
errors.
got to be like an uncomfortable question. We gotta work on
Certainly
it.
wasn't high-level football today.
No, it's make sure you get my good ankle. Now, it is funny. This is a great momentous moment for Myles Garrett. And
The season as a whole, truthfully.
Well, yeah,
For
well-
as bad as the season was, this is the crowning
It's our
moment of the
highlight.
season.
yes, it's the only highlight. And it's quite a highlight. And for Myles personally, what an achievement. It's cool to see things like this. Like here's Myles' dad in the stands
Mm-hmm.
with
We talk
a
about how important that
professional-
is. And there's his dad, Lawrence, who is a photographer himself. Miles has the hobby of photography as well. He's got a professional. That's better than what we got, I think.
Look at that camera.
The size of that thing. It could catch the moon.
It could catch the moon. Well, I saw this and I'm like, how sad is it that the league is so commercial and everything else that Myles Garrett, the star player of a program, and someone who's about to, it's not even just any game, a pinnacle game, can't get his dad press credentials to be on the sidelines with him and get the best view. And then within the same week, I see this clip and
Well, real quick though, Alex, there's no seats on the sideline.
Hey,
though,
Doug,
so.
let me finish, all right? And then we could talk it all out. So on the flip side, you've got Miles' dad who can't get a spot. And then you've got, where's it at? Simone Biles. So here she is with Olivia Culpo. She has press credentials. She's here to do a spot for the NFL, do some promo.
I guess the only reason in Miles Garrett's defense is maybe like
I don't think I would assume, I'm hoping that it's because he didn't want it.
And I'm
that as a pro, I could get a better angle from up high. But at the same time, if that is true, because Doug, let's get to the reality of your point then. Of course there's no seats, but there is an entire go to a football game. I invite you, go to a football game. And when you sit there, you'll see that the whole outside perimeter is media with media credentials taking photos. That's what I'm indicating. So you could have him and so now to your point, I want to hope that the reason he's not on the sidelines is by choice. He thinks he could get a better picture from up high. However, if that's the case, then why wouldn't all the pros that are getting like the primetime Getty Images worth $5,000 a pop, perfect photos, why aren't those guys riddled from the lower section of the stadium?
Because I think Miles' dad was sitting with his whole family. I think that was part of it. It's the whole
That
family.
was-
Yeah, but you know,
I think he wanted to be near his family when it happened also.
I could see that,
that's
but I could
personal.
also see if you saw earlier when they were all celebrating on the sidelines, he went and hugged his dad. So his dad's, leaning over the front row. It's like, but also don't you want to celebrate with your son? You could be down there. Like, I hear you, but then also, and again, it took till the end of the game.
Yeah.
So you would be down there the whole game.
So I can imagine it happens 2 minutes into the game and now you're just standing there.
Or then you could go back to your seats.
Right.
But the thing that stinks is this would have been, you literally sat there the whole game, and it was the last 5 minutes of the game. So as that, it's fun. The crowning jewel, I think, that came from the moment is we got a little take from Michael Strahan, and I thought that was pretty fun.
I mean, I hold the record for a 16-game season. They hold the record for 17-game season. That's the way it works out. But you can't compare records from 12-game seasons to 16 and 17 games. It doesn't work. But I look at it like this. There's always generation that I love the fact this young man's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I know that he has so many more sacks left in him. 30 years old. I think I had just as many, if not more, sacks after 30 as did Bruce Smith, as did Reggie White. I think he's just getting going. He's just finding his stride. And you don't know how hard it is to do that on a team that isn't always in the lead, a team that isn't always competitive. I think that is the most amazing thing about it. He's done it on a team where he's the focus. He's the guy that gets doubled and tripled every time, and it never stopped him from going out there and putting up numbers
not
year
playing
after
with
year.
the lead, yeah.
Without playing with the lead. I mean, this kid is amazing. And I really just want him to be on a team, which hopefully will be Cleveland because he signed a long-term deal there, that wins and gives them the opportunity to have the ultimate thing in this game of a team game, which is a Super Bowl.
Oh, way to rub his nose in that, Michael Strahan.
Well, again,
I mean, he's right.
It comes back to the criticisms I've always had with Miles is when they had that conversation, he's like, oh, I've seen the blueprints of what we're doing. And he just gives a smirk and it's coach just got fired. GM, we feel like should have got fired. Got your sack record, though, and that's great. No one's going to take that away from you. No one's going to take your money away from you, and we're all happy for Miles. We went 5-12.
Well, the other thing, too, is I saw that, what was it, TJ Watt? TJ Watt, right?
Yeah,
TJ Watt. He did it in 15 games played that season. And so I've been seeing a lot of things online going, oh, congratulations, Myles Garrett. It only took you 2 games more than TJ Watt. Like, I've been seeing a lot of that online.
Yeah, those people can piss off.
I agree.
I don't care. They're always going to find like some way to try to ridicule a record, and it's just Twitter warriors sitting.
Well, but again, it's a season. That's how things are measured. And yes, the season got longer, but there's no way of there's no way of mathematically synthesizing this to make it any way different beyond what a full season is.
Right.
Because let's be real, guys, if he would have been on a different team, he'd still be playing.
Yes.
So there's the why in the road is if he was playing for the Bills and it was the TJ Watt 15-week season.
No,
he'd still
TJ Watt, they had the same season.
Oh,
like
okay.
He only played 15 games that season and did it in 15 games.
Because he missed a game or two for injury.
Yeah.
So it's only a regular season award. So if like we were in the playoffs and you had
then that doesn't
say 4 or 5 sacks, it wouldn't count.
Yeah.
Well, again,
then it goes for I think there's a record for total sacks in a season. I'm pretty sure Michael Strahan has that.
Even then, it's a conversation point, but it isn't something that should be dictating the evaluation.
Argument people make to try and kind of one up you, and it's at the end of the day, it's all right. Go to Wikipedia. His name's there. Sorry, cry about it to them.
Yeah.
No. My argument would be okay. He set the record at 15 games. At 17 games, I got this. Beat me then. Beat me. I mean, it's like, okay, at 15 games, he did that. At 17 games, I did this. And now on the record, beat me.
Yeah,
the season ain't getting any longer. The players can't play any more games.
It's going to get longer. I think it's going to jump to 18.
I think so. I could see that happen in the next 5 years.
Unless they add 2 buys to the season.
Yeah, that's what it would actually happen.
I don't think they're going to necessarily add 2 buys, but what I think they're going to do is I think they're going to cut out a preseason game. So there'll be 2 preseason games and then 18 games.
In the
next 5 years, that's what's going to happen.
I wouldn't doubt it. So indulge us. We're going to have a little bit of Browns talk here as we kind of leave to then talk about the rest of the bracket. Talking about Myles Garrett, going back to week 18, in the locker room, somebody was kind of fishing for a comment on Stefanski, the coach, and, the ups and the downs.
Your experience playing under Kevin these last 6 years?
Has it been 6? 5? 6? God damn. My experience, like anything, we've had ups and downs. Unfortunately, more downs than ups. So, would have loved to make a little bit more noise and some different years, especially this year with how well we've been playing on defense. But it just wasn't in the cards. Got to continue to grow and find ways to improve. This team has too many talented individuals now.
Putting it delicately, unfortunately, more ups than downs. And that was last week. So now this week, Myles gets the record. And there's been a theme, if you've been watching us or hearing us ever talk about the Browns, a theme that I commonly harp is how deflated, and I think the worst attribute of Stefanski is his locker room presence. And when we get a peek into that locker room, Oregon just scored a touchdown. So now we're tied up. Oregon, Indiana. Well, we'll wait until they get the field goal. Yeah, I hear you, Doug.
Halfway through the first.
That's fun. We got a good game. This is kind of what I was expecting from the game, too.
Yeah.
So going into this week, Stefanski in classic Stefanski fashion, giving us one last terrible post-game locker room speech, even on a win. However, Myles delivers for the people. He's finally given us a little bit of the people's expression as we have to deal with Stefanski's locker room bullshit one last time.
I do not lie to you. Do I ever lie? No. I don't lie to you. You know how I felt about this game, okay? And you know how I feel about this.
I do not lie.
I think good song choice. Whoever made that was a great song choice.
Yes. Yeah, dude. So Haslam, clown, the boomer billionaire spoiled baby that is insistent that we should keep our faith in him. He is taking ownership of our situation.
Why should
I want you to hear this, okay? First of all, ownership takes full responsibility for.
That's you. Say your name.
In 2 years is horrible.
Just say hi, dude.
No, he can't because it's D and Jimmy Haslam for a reason, because he was under indictment for federal crap and knew he might be. So it's really D Haslam that owns the team, and Jimmy just happens to be along for the ride.
What would we do without you, Doug?
Facts.
It's not going to continue, okay? And I want the fans to know we are as frustrated as you are, and we hear a lot from our fans, which we actually
No world.
appreciate.
Oh, world. Your sign looks like Tennessee.
You literally made the scoreboard of your stadium the shape of the state, Tennessee, your home state.
They're extremely passionate, and they deserve better than what they've gotten the last 2 years, okay? No, I don't need to say anything else. We are going to give you a better product. Our sole goal here is to be a consistent winner. Not make the playoffs in 20 and then make it again in 23, not win 8 games in 2 years. That's not what we're trying to do. That's not acceptable. Our fans
That is
deserve
what you
better.
do. Here's what I don't like, Will. We got the loss of Stefanski, but the thing that people wanted more than anything was the loss of Andrew Berry. And we just get a little bit more of the same crap.
What would Andrew Berry's message to the fans be?
My message to the fans is we know how difficult this year has been.
No, you don't.
No.
You want to know why? You want to know why alone? Because what you're saying was difficult was this year. You want to know what's been difficult? The lifetime of a Browns fan. That's what's been difficult.
And we appreciate the loyalty, the passion, the commitment to the team.
Hey, we appreciate your loyalty so much that we're going to build a new stadium off of the Attorney General's unclaimed funds. We're stealing from the state. We're going to build it for this billionaire spoiled brat, and we'll probably fit a Tennessee scoreboard in there again, just to rub your stupid Ohio nose in it. And we love your loyalty so much that to remain a season ticket holder, we're going to make the ownership of reserving just the right to have the license to have the season ticket, the DSL. Thanks, Doug. Because
Personal seat license, everybody. Personal seat license, which means nothing for current Browns owners.
all right,
by
Doug,
the way.
you're good. You're good. You'll charge them $20,000 to have the right to pay their season tickets. So then they could pay 3 times what they're paying now. And I'm supposed to, hey, this time, believe me.
Hey, maybe
the product will be good.
Maybe they'll make the scoreboard in the shape of the elf. That'll be like their little gift to the fans.
I like that.
Just in the shape of the elf. You know, why not?
The scoreboard will still demonstrate a score of 3 against 36.
An under 20 score.
But it's in the shape of the elf.
But hey, you got him up there.
So we're screwed. McDaniels is saying he wants to come back.
Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? He's employed. He's unemployed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I want a job. I do too, dude.
Exactly. And at the same time, let's transition to another game. Well, if it's worth anything, what's one more clip?
Can I give a comment though, real quick, on what
Sure.
Barry said about loyalty and commitment to the fans? We do a football show throughout the season every Sunday, and the damn Browns fan in attendance here that actually has a PSL license is wearing a Mighty Ducks thing. That's how bad it's got.
Whoa.
I'm just saying, he's blowing a lot of smoke out.
Technically, me and my dad have a PSL. We took
hear
them
you,
from
Dad.
my uncle.
Okay,
But
well,
again, they're worth
half the
nothing.
people here
They're
then-
worth nothing now, though. Like that's the problem.
Well, they're going to be
is
worth something
they're
at the
worth
new
nothing.
stadium, apparently.
They're only
gonna be
worth
a lot.
something within the first apparently 10 years of a new stadium, and then at a certain
Trey,
point they go
Buzz
worth
Killington.
nothing.
So, you know, when I hear Andrew Berry say something like that, it just does make you wonder. Because I only went to Browns games mainly as a child because I refuse to actually go to that stadium because the man to my left, who would actually take me to some of the games, is in a Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, that's a great
Brunette.
bit that Doug had a crush on because he's dumb. But what's hilarious is you're right. You looked at me and you're like, you're wearing Mighty Ducks. And I go, why would I wear the Browns? And then Doug's like, I got the Browns.
You know, this is how it's gotten in this fan base.
All right, you're good.
Knowing damn well we're going to still watch them next year, unfortunately. Like, that is the commitment we do have to a certain degree. But it just gets to this, again, it's a comment we've made about Stefanski and Barry multiple, countless times. You inherited a solid roster, and 6 years later, we called the writing on the wall 2 years ago, or like at the start of last season. I'm like, we're in rebuild. I had people try to tell me we weren't. I was like, we are in complete rebuild. The only redeeming quality of this entire team is the defense. Fortunately, Barry struck minor gold in last year's draft where I could be like, well, we got a running back and we got a tight end.
I wouldn't say minor gold. I think we did really well.
But I'm saying offensively, like defense players that we drafted have been good. The defense as a whole is good. But when you look at the offense, we have a running back who just broke his leg, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's minor asterisk question mark behind that. And then you have Fannin, who looks like a pretty solid tight end. Unfortunately, Njoku's been in the league a bit now. And without having a good quarterback play, you're not getting the most out of him.
But also, he's a free agent.
And he's going
to be looking around.
And if he wants to look around, it's like
he should.
I don't blame him. Get the hell out of
Get a new spot and we'll cheer you on still. Just like Baker and Chubb, wherever that man goes, I'm cheering for him.
You know, and it's just unfortunate that we did have a moment in time where it was like hopeful, and in 6 years we're in full rebuild.
What I want to say that strengthens your point is what something that even further enhances the point about how special that roster was. Beyond Odell Beckham Jr., every single one of those people moving on from our team, I still love you. That has never been the case for the Browns.
No.
There's never been players. I'm telling you, my whole life, once you're gone, you're gone.
I think the only player I actually didn't, which unfortunately went to the Steelers, is like Joe Hayden, but it was
fair. Cheers.
But
And you know what?
Situation where it was like Njoku, where it's like, I get the hell
Fair.
out too. Go to a good competitive
No,
team.
I'll be honest. I would have cheered for Joe Thomas even if he left.
Right. He would have too, but Joe didn't. And unfortunately, that's when people bring up the draft this year and they always say, well, we need all line. It's like, yeah, sure we do. Look how great it was when you drafted Joe Thomas. You lost 14 games a year, but we had the best left tackle in all of football. You lost 14 games a year.
And so what's fun is here's Joe Hayden. He's the real only crowning gem that came from that team that year, or that stretch. Joe Thomas, the most consecutive games in NFL history. Cool record to have. That guy is the only crowning jewel throughout that whole stretch. What makes that hilarious? A kicker.
Yeah,
a kicker. But again, the only guy throughout that stretch.
Yeah.
What's cool about this period that you are making a claim about, where Haslam and Barry single-handedly ruined the whole roster, were those gems.
Yeah.
And you ruined it.
You had a solid squad. You had did we have a perfect squad? No, but you had a solid squad to rally around and get excited for as fans. And all it took was 1 year when Baker got hurt for it literally it just all unraveled in one entire offseason. And we've been paying for it ever since. And we are in complete rebuild. We're in absolute rebuild. When they go to draft board and they're saying like needs, it's going to be quarterback, receiver, offensive line, probably defensive back. It's going to name like 5-6 positions. And it's like, that's way too many for one offseason. We're in full rebuild. We don't even have a coach.
Right.
We have a GM that if you ask normal fans, they're going to be like, yeah, I don't really like him. Sure. They'll say he had a good draft, this most recent one. But he's been here 5-6 years, the same as Stefanski. So it's like in 5-6 years, you got saved by literally one draft. Stefanski's out of here,
right?
And for all, also by the way, for all you Stefanski lovers, again, I am not an anti-Stefanski guy. I don't really care what he does and how he does. You all said the next day he'd be scooped up and
Indiana's in the red zone. No, you're right. And don't worry, it's going to happen, and we'll see it happen.
But they were like the next day he's going to get a job the next day.
Well,
it's been like a week. He hasn't. And the more and more coaches that kind of get fired, and it's still early, but the more and more fired, who would you rather hire, John Harbaugh or Kevin Stefanski?
Well, let's get to that. Let me finish. Let's finish this point first. So, speaking of which, of the crowning gems that came from that team, Newsome, he left. Still love him, and he still has love for Cleveland. Of that defense, Delpit and Denzel Ward still kind of holding up the back end. They have some thoughts on who they'd like to see liaison in as a head coach. And I don't know how I feel about it, but it's an interesting take that they're both holding the line together with.
I said, I think we've had over the past 3 years accumulated, number one defense. So I think it goes without saying what kind of coach he is and the energy he brings. Look, I think Coach Schwartz is going to be a great, still got it, type of head coach. So, he's a fiery guy, and I've vouched for him. So, I think that he's taken our defense and brought it to an elite level, kept it there. So,
40 seconds left in the first quarter.
Me, I would highly recommend Coach Schwartz for a head coaching job here. Definitely, like I said, Coach Schwartz, he's a great coach. He's helped my game tremendously. Puts us in great position, great leader, and I can't say enough great things about him. But
I'm just curious how that transfers over. I really don't think it transfers.
I've been saying this for a week now, since the end of the season, pretty much, is all the talk. Even Miles was talking him up throughout the season. I think no matter what, he's safe. He's going to be our defensive coordinator. Maybe he gets promoted to head coach. We've already interviewed him. It's been out there. We're interviewing him. But either way, I think he is safe as our defensive coordinator, because Garrett, our defensive star that we have to keep happy because we're paying him a lot now, along with all these other players, just seem to love him. Yep. So I think no matter what, he's probably the most safe out of any coach on the coaching staff.
The only world in which he's not safe is if they hire a coach who wants to bring in their own guy. And Barry and Haslam are dead set on hiring this guy as a coach.
Right.
It's the only way they wouldn't bring back. I wouldn't mind. And here, I need you guys to bear with me on this. I'm going to go back to that, not the 2020 year. I'm going to go back to Baker's rookie year when Hugh got fired and we brought in Greg Williams. Schwartz kind of gives me a Greg Williams vibe, where it's like, yeah, he's a good defensive coordinator, but it's a culture guy. Like, he's a big, like, you could tell that the defense, I could see culture on that field. It's like, no, these are hard-hitting guys, ball hawks. Like, they're searching for the ball and they're on the field all the time. So this isn't me saying I want him as the next head coach, but if they were to do that, then it's just, okay, you just need to nail the offensive coordinator hire. So that it's one less thing. The tricky part when you're in these situations is if you're looking in this hiring process and the head coach candidate says, I want to bring in my guys. And they're like, well, you got to keep Jim Schwartz. Maybe this guy sure, Jim Schwartz is a great coach, but he doesn't like him. They don't vibe. You know what I mean? So
but that's the thing though, Will, if you're bringing in an offensive coach, do you have to vibe with them as a defensive coordinator?
You're in the room with them. Yes, you do. Like, these are coaches. You're all working together. I don't want to have a defensive coordinator that half the game when they start screwing up, I'm like, hey, dickhead, what are you doing over there? I don't want that. I need it to be a pretty congruent, like, sure, hold each other accountable, but it's like, oh, you say you hire a Mike McDaniels as a coach and they force him to keep Schwartz. Those two guys, I don't know, like, they just don't like fit. Maybe they do. But if they don't, it's like personality headbutts. It's like, okay, this isn't going to work. Like, for instance, John Harbaugh. You go to hire John Harbaugh. I wouldn't be surprised if John Harbaugh's like, I want my guy. Right. I wouldn't blame him. He's had all the success for almost 2 decades. You know, I wouldn't blame him, but you're like, hey, I've never worked with Jim. I've worked with this guy for 10 years. You know, that's where it is. The fortunate thing for the Browns, because we are the Browns, I don't think you're going to be getting your John Harbaughs.
Especially because we kept Barry as the GM. Like, that means a little more certain people are safe. You know, if we were cleaning house, I would be a little more worried about Schwartz leaving.
So getting to Harbaugh, his release with the Baltimore Ravens, and it's interesting that the root of that came from and this is the Baker Stefanski thing. And you are going to see an organization choose the player over the coach versus when we chose the coach over the player. Here's Colin Cowherd.
Harbaugh is really, really good. And Lamar Jackson is still really, really good. And I think it came down to several meetings reportedly long meetings. And I think at some point, John Harbaugh probably said, I was 8-4 pre-Lamar. You've seen him in the playoffs. I'm 3-6 with him. We got to start having discussions. He's missing games. He's not the same guy. And Lamar's still great, but that city and that locker room and that organization, it's all about Lamar. At some point, John Harbaugh may have said, how many years are we going to go on this? I'm projecting here, I'm guessing, but I can understand if there was pushback, where the pushback would come from. And I think that's one of those situations. I always say this, like your athletes, don't fall in love with them. But in Baltimore, I think Lamar's got so much juice and so much power. He's still a terrific player.
So again, just like the Baker situation, only time will tell. But I don't know if this is going to really play out for the Ravens like they think. But it all comes down to the coach. If you could have somebody that comes in here, changes the whole culture, and you get a whole different version, a rejuvenated version of Lamar, man, this could be a whole new dynasty, but that's a big if.
Well, I heard a report out of them. They're like, they want to hire a guy that's going to get into Lamar's untapped potential. And I'm just thinking in my head, I was like, he's won 2 MVPs. He had 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions last year. What do you mean untapped potential? What is he going to throw for? 55 touchdowns and 2 picks? Like, it's such a ridiculous. It's like, he's been fantastic. Now, here's where I'm going to go against Lamar. I like Lamar. I think he's a good dude. He's a fantastic player. He's more than likely a future Hall of Famer. That style of football that he has, how many more good years do you think he's got before you see a decline?
How many good years do you think?
He's about to be 30. He'll be 30 at the start.
That's what I'm saying. Unfortunately, dude, when he gets injured and he's absolutely baked at a food truck stand getting goy slop in a giant styrofoam container fried, I think we're there. I think we're getting there.
I wouldn't say we're there.
No. I'm not even saying I'm seeing him. You might want to think second string. But, dude, I think it's one of those, like, you'd be better off building with a May today, right? With the Patriots, a young kid that's like new, or a Jackson Dart.
Right.
But this is I'd rather go with a Shador, not Shador, but a Shador type where it's young with, but there's more potential of bringing that back than getting Lamar. I saw what he had, so we know it's possible, but it's so much harder once that's gone to bring that back versus spark a new life in a young kid.
Well, here's the thing. I think Lamar's missed 18 games due to injury in his entire career. So he's missed over a year of his career due to injury. Now, it's not all been at once. It's been sporadically through.
But think about that.
That's still a crazy thought, though, man.
It is. But it's like, I'd look at Lamar and say, hey, Lamar, you missed 5 games this year. You missed the playoffs by 1 game. Do you think the injury? Do you think if you didn't get injured, you'd probably make the playoffs and Harbaugh doesn't get fired? It's probably a pretty good case. Harbaugh was literally a field goal away from that getting fired.
Will, you say that, but the only reason they missed it was because of 1 field goal.
No, they also missed it because Lamar missed 5 games. I highly doubt Lamar would have gone 0-5 in those 5 games. So for me, it is kind of one of those. Lamar, your injuries do play into effect about how the team's end of year record goes. The irony is you lose to Pittsburgh on a field goal, which most of the times you make them. Ask the Browns. We're supposed to always make them. And we lost the first game of the year on a missed kick.
Yeah, but like you're saying them not making the playoffs is part of the reason he didn't get retained this year.
It's 100%
okay. They
the reason
missed
he
the
didn't
playoffs.
That's true.
Because literally, if they had won that game, they would have made the playoffs. So 1 field goal.
And
hang on, real quick too.
But Doug,
they didn't have Lamar Jackson for a third of the year.
Doug,
think if Lamar, not to cut you off, Alex, but it's like, Doug, Josh Allen doesn't get hurt. They made the playoffs because Josh played in every game. Do you think if Lamar played in every game because he doesn't get hurt, and he is injury prone, this isn't like he unfortunately got hurt. He gets hurt. He misses. If you're the backup quarterback for Baltimore, just about every year you're going to start 4 games because Lamar's going to get hurt at some point. That's kind of what this is turning into.
We're getting at.
But you argued against it. You're like, no, he was a kick away from getting in. My argument is Lamar, and I agree. But my also other part of the argument is Lamar, if you didn't miss 5 games from injury, you're definitely in the playoffs.
Even stronger point, doubling down on that. Does anybody here recall our conversation about college football last year? We got bamboozled in real time for the fans to all watch. We had a Michigan game and we were all like, get rid of Day.
Yes.
And then we watched a guy save his career.
Yes.
That's what. So, Doug, what you're arguing against is moot and only enhances Will's point, because the reality is this: you're a kick away from saving your career, just like Day made those kicks and saved his career. If you make it and you have a performance in the playoffs, they probably try to rekindle their relationship and make it work for one more year.
I think they were still a little premature considering they didn't have Lamar for a third of the year, and even then when he came back, he still wasn't the same Lamar right away.
True,
like I still think what wasn't he under contract for one more year at least?
Sure, he's under contract for one more year, but
why
at this
not
point,
one more year then?
But
because there's a irreparable void between him and the coach.
Yeah, it's this,
what did you miss?
It's this sticky wicket, as we've been bringing up a lot lately. Like,
how did Brigitte Macron make it into this one?
I felt like bringing it up.
Sticky wicket.
That one's on me.
Tuck that sticky wicket back and get back to football.
That's the thing with Lamar. It's Lamar. You're known for two things. You're known for injury prone and having essentially bad performances in the playoffs. And Colin Cowherd essentially brought both of those up, going, you fired a Hall of Fame coach. Again, ask Pittsburgh post Ben Roethlisberger, and that's a quarterback. You don't just go and grab another one unless you're like Green Bay.
Wait, you don't just grab another franchise quarterback.
Right, exactly. Like, you just don't you don't just find them unless you're like Green Bay, where you fortunately in our life have only had 3 quarterbacks. Ask New England. They had Cam Newton as a quarterback post Brady at one point.
Yeah.
Now they got Drake May, and they criticized Drake May for drafting him. Now he might be MVP. So it's one of those things where it's like, guys, you don't just go and do that. Do I think Lamar will be bad after this? No, I think he's a great talent. I think he's a good quarterback. The issues with Lamar remain is, hey, listen, backup quarterback, you're playing 4 or 5 games. Ask Snoop Huntley the week before. They beat Green Bay, a playoff team. They not just beat them, they kicked their ass, by the way. And then the next week, Lamar comes back and plays, and you lose, and then Harbaugh gets fired. People aren't bringing that up. And this is, like, again, I have a lot of respect for John Harbaugh, and I think it's because we did grow up in that we watched him twice a year. Yeah. AFC North, you're always seeing
we watched him dominate for a while.
The Ravens-Steelers rivalry, we watched it throughout our whole life. From as much as we hate these teams, I do respect the hell out of John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. What they've done there is unbelievably, it's great respect.
So, Will, let me ask you, do you want Harbaugh to be the next coach of the Cleveland Browns?
No, don't come and ruin your – no, absolutely not. Yeah, I'm saying this in –
I'm not saying about his career-wise what would be the best choice. I'm saying, would you want him?
No.
Me neither.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
And here's the reason I wouldn't want him. You're going to come and coach a franchise where the owner has immediate decision-making over you, and you're a Hall of Fame coach. Are you kidding me? Why would I come and do that? I'm going to come and listen to Jimmy? I've kicked your ass for 2 decades. Why the hell am I listening to you? If I'm John Harbaugh, if I'm going to be hired, if he wants to be a coach again, and I saw a tweet earlier about his requirements. He is asking for a salary of $20 million. It's reasonable. You're a Hall of Fame coach. Why wouldn't you? The bill's high. The market's high. You're the #1 coaching candidate. He wants to bring his own staff. He wants to have essentially all decision-making in terms of how the team operates and who they pick and who they draft and stuff like that. You're not getting that here. We literally saw last year's draft, drafted a quarterback, 2 rounds later, call was made, draft this kid.
Plus, where logical front offices are looking this way, the Haslam's instinct is to go this way. Do not surprise yourself when they have legitimate faces passing each other in the hallway. Maybe it's going to be Harbaugh passing McDaniels as we're oh, seriously? And then little did we know, in the room currently interviewing is Deion Sanders.
Exactly.
That's how dumb we are.
God. But that's the thing. Unfortunately for the Browns, out of the 7 open head coaching positions, you can make an argument that the Cardinals and the Browns are the 2 worst to come to.
Probably.
You have no quarterback. Cardinals are going to move off Kyler Murray because it just isn't working there. That's run its course.
And Cardinals have a better draft pick than us, don't they?
They do, but the difference is it's simply this. They have better offensive weapons. The The only redeemable thing about this franchise right now is you have Jim Schwartz in control of the defense. That is completely it. And if you're John Harbaugh, why would I go to a team that doesn't have a quarterback? And the overbearing owner thinks he's the Cowboys owner, Jerry Jones, thinks he's him and has his absolute track record and is going to come in, which Jerry Jones at this point in his career, everybody thinks is kind of a joke.
Did you see what he said in an interview?
Which one?
So he's in an interview. I think it was literally this week. And he's like, I'm not quitting. He's pounding his hand on the desk. I'm not going to retire until I have the Super Bowl record. I'm going to have it. I'm good. And then literally he has a staffer standing right behind him, just like.
And
then somebody goes, hey, you do know you're 3 behind. He's like, I know.
Technically 4 because Tom has 7.
Well, no, he's and he is an owner. He is an owner. Shit.
So yeah, no. Tom Brady owns the record for most Super Bowls. Just as a player, though. He doesn't want it. But like that's the thing. It's like the Raiders is a more appealing job because you're in Vegas and you have the number 1 pick, even though they don't have a quarterback.
But does Jimmy not have like family that he can pass like these duties on to somewhat?
I don't want him to give
and
any
just
of his kids.
claim,
It's just his cousin.
just claim it, you know?
I
Like,
absolutely do
just
not.
claim it.
No, I don't want Jimmy Haslam giving any of whatever power he has to anybody he knows. And that's the thing. That's the unfortunate. Like if I was John Harbaugh, I'd look at essentially 2 teams.
Yeah, but
at
most companies get passed down, or most of these teams now get passed down to like a family.
Not necessarily.
After a lot of them have recently, you know, they've been passed on, or you've been forced to sell. But
sure, but like they're younger people that are already previously involved. Just look at the Colts owner, the female owner now. It's like she's very hands-on, but she was always around it because her husband was always around it. You know,
and Jimmy's own, or not Jimmy, Jerry's owned the team for how long? Like none of his kids have been around it long enough that he can pass some shit on to them
because he's an egotistical old man who
Yep,
wants to
there you go. There you go.
Until they have to pull him out of the press box because he died during the game. So we all know Jerry Jones' ultimate demise will be someday, and he'll be happy. So good for him. Like I'm happy for him.
He'll
But it's
die
like,
doing what he loved.
If I'm John Harbaugh, I'm looking at 2 teams right now, and it's the Giants with Dart because they have a potential franchise kid there, or I'm going to Miami because he has a good relationship with the owner down there. And they have a rookie quarterback that looked to be kind of all right, and you have a better draft pick than the Browns.
Or what about, like, okay, we're talking about head coaching positions. Oakland's about to have the number 1 pick in the draft, man.
Did I not just say that?
You did. So speaking of Jackson Dart and other considerations like the Giants, it is funny for a Hall of Fame coach like Harbaugh, that being one of the prime options for him. The press is kind of pushing, as I've been kind of forecasting all season. Here's Jackson Dart in an interview being a question about what would you think about Stefanski coming here to be your coach?
Gosh.
He's had a really good career, especially from an offensive side of things. And I thought that the visit with him and his staff went well, and I think he's a really good coach.
Here will be the irony, though. If he does get hired there and he does pretty well with Dart, it will immediately come back to the Deshaun Watson trade, thinking you traded 3 first-round picks for Deshaun. It didn't work. When if you could have had Baker roll out his 5th year, made a decision after the year, and then decided to draft a kid high. So we'll come back on like all the Deshaun like believers, and I'll look at them and be like,
And let's be real, that year with that first year where Deshaun couldn't play and we didn't have Baker, imagine if we did. We still had enough of those parts remaining. Like, again,
we should just force Baker to play, man. I said before, it's like he was under contract, force him to play.
No, Doug. Okay, ignore everybody. Strike that from the record. It was never said. Not on this show. Back to what I was going to say. You still had on this roster Amari Cooper. Like
you had players.
Yeah.
You still had the roster there.
So if you didn't spit in the face of somebody that we all still thought you were, we all were kind of like, I'm feeling like this might be the end, but this is still definitely one more year in the tank. If he could earn us all back, he could change it all in 1 year.
Right.
And I think he probably would have. The proof is in the pudding. He would have. He was in the postseason in a whole different team that same season. So I think it was the Rams, right?
No, he did the he had his journeyman year in Carolina, and they
that was it.
him, and then he went to the Rams, and it revitalized his career. his first 2 years back in Tampa, he made the postseason.
Right. Well, no, didn't he play for the Rams?
No, they had an off year. Stafford was hurt all year. They literally picked up Baker just essentially to kind of throw him a bone, but they only won like 5 games that year, and Baker was 3 of them.
Okay, but still, regardless, the point is, had you not spit in his face, he would have remained. You could have had, like you had this year, a competitive quarterback corner, whoever you brought in, not somebody with 26 sexual assault allegations, and then who knows what it looks like.
Right.
So I think we all know that is going to be the nexus point we all point to, where it's like, that was the moment our momentum was derailed.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. And again, proof is in the pudding. If Stefanski makes it work somewhere else, then yeah, he really was the 2-time coach of the year and deserves it.
Anti-Stefanski to work somewhere else. Unfortunately for him here, it's, hey man, you've been here 6 years and I've seen the product, and the locker room feels like they need to change. Just look at Miles' eyes when he had that conversation. It's just like, we all know what's coming. It's a change is needed here. The unfortunate thing is we didn't do a full clean house, in my opinion. Regardless, when it comes down to it, if you see him go anywhere, he might even go to Baltimore and it might prove out well. But it's like, if he goes to New York and I see him do well with Jackson Dart, it just reminds me of Jameis Winston in Tampa, where they gave him his 5th year, and I think he went like 33 touchdowns and 30 picks. And they decided to move on from Jameis. They just said, hey, we're going to let you do free agency, and we're going to look at maybe bring a quarterback in free agency or draft a quarterback. And who'd they bring in? Tom Brady in free agency and won a Super Bowl that year. That was always what I thought the Browns should have done with Baker. It's like, give him his 5th year. No one would say we didn't try with Baker. Even me as a Baker diehard, I'd be like, you gave him 5 years. You gave him half a decade here. It either worked or it didn't work. But you keep your draft picks. You keep the stability of the rest of the team. Instead, it immediately started crumbling then. And it was saved by about a month and a half of Joe Flacco. That was it. That was the Stefanski experience here.
Right. So keeping the show going here, one of the other, we're talking about Jim Harbaugh, talking about the end of the Ravens season. That was a really great game between Ravens and the Steelers. It all coming down to a field goal in the final moments. And, it is a shame that the Steelers trying to prevent Miles from getting his all-time, all season sack record. Sorry for rack.
Rack City.
That's right. His big old sack record. And they just chose to forfeit essentially rather than, maybe giving up a sack. So in lieu of that, it all came down to one game, but the Steelers were able to pull through. Here is the greatest clip ever of a Steelers fan, take a Ravens fan really soaking in the moment.
Hey, let's watch it together.
I love these videos so much.
Yeah, let's watch this field goal, game-winning field goal for the Ravens. Let's watch it. Oh, you missed.
I always love it when they turn around and their face is always just that.
See, the thing was, it's like no way in the video he saw that they missed it. He heard the reaction of everybody around him.
Yeah, I think the terrible towels made it clear.
I love it when people do this. I remember there was an old one with Rodgers, and it was a Green Bay fan at an away game, and Rodgers beat him on like a Hail Mary. He started the video. He's like, minute 18, gave us too much time. And then it just ends up winning, and like all the fans have his reaction, and it's an entire stadium's worth. Those videos will never get old.
They never get old. And in classic Tomlin fashion, his post-game interview, perfect cherry on top for the weekend.
Kick, season's over, comes to a screeching halt, and missing that kick and the winter going on.
You know how it is. If my aunt had male parts, she'd be my uncle. All right.
Asking him, if you missed that, if he made that kick, your season's over.
The irony is, as a Browns fan, is I'm going to miss him someday, because it's just like, you've been around so long. I respect you enough to be. He's what I want the Browns to eventually have. Someone like him, where it's like a guy that's here for 15, 20 years, and it just works. It just fits. It's just, and then Steelers fans will look at me every year and be like, oh my God, he just can't win a playoff game. And you just kind of want to hit him. You just kind of want to hit him once or twice, just to be like, dude, come to this side.
Right.
for a year and experience it.
Oh yeah.
I don't have a losing season.
I don't think they can handle it. Last clip I have as a review of last week. Real quick before we keep going here, there's 9 minutes left in the game, 14-7, Oregon, Indiana. Indiana's winning. Or yeah, in the game. In the half. We're in the second
Boy, this has
quarter.
been a long episode.
Yeah.
Really
I mean, it really
quick
has.
game.
So the last clip I have here for us, it's just kind of, I'd like to get your guys' thoughts on this. I think Will's going to have maybe a different take on it than me, but here's Mike Evans following the game. They're out of the playoffs, no Buccaneers. The season's over. And here's Mike Evans walking to the locker room in their tunnel, winning autographs for the referees.
Yeah, it's a Hall of Famer, Mike Evans.
You don't think that's weird?
No.
I mean, let's be honest.
I knew you
I'd
wouldn't.
do it.
Yeah, I mean, if I was that ref, I'd want to. I'd want to. Like, if you're Mike, it's like, shit, who gives a shit?
Well, and the game's over. And I'm just saying.
Yeah, imagine if they do that after the first drive. That'd be different. This
Well,
after the game, it's like,
I'm going to tell you what, this video reads the way you say it is because they lost.
Mhm.
This video does not read the same if the Buccaneers won. Even if they didn't have any
no,
like
they
close.
won last week. They didn't make the playoffs because the Falcons won. Or are you talking about
Yeah,
the week
that, you
prior?
you are right.
Are you talking about the week
Yeah,
prior?
so that's why this doesn't read right. Even more so. Like when you win a game and the refs are like, hey, it just doesn't
Honestly,
read well.
the reason to probably ask him to sign, they're probably thinking he might retire.
You think?
I mean, if he did, he'd be a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying he will, but I mean,
I
he's
don't
been in the
think he
league over
will.
a decade now.
But
That's
he's
the
still
thing.
got shelf life.
No,
I
he
mean-
still does. It's one of those things. It's hey, you're retired. If Mike Evans retired, no one would be, oh man, he retired too soon, and be like, well, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like that's essentially where he's at this point in his career. To where if he did, you're retiring. As
We
a
just
Hall
got
of
another
Famer.
touchdown by Indiana.
So yeah, another big score.
Wow.
So for
Domination.
me, like if Mike Evans decides to come back, wouldn't shock me. If he decided to retire, also wouldn't shock me. Like it's one of those like, how many more good years do you think you got? You've had 2 years in a row where you've had a big hamstring injury, and this year it literally cost you your record. Like you missed half the year. Like you're not beating the record then, and the year before you tied the record literally on the last play of your regular season. So for me. But again, if he decides to come back, no one would be shocked. So I don't blame him thinking, hey, this might be it for him.
Right.
You know, it very well could be.
So, getting into our predictions and expectations going into the playoffs this year, take a look at the bracket. It looks pretty. You know, Broncos, Seahawks earn their spot with the crown. They get to have a bye in the first week.
But
And
I predicted that both those teams at the start of the year would have.
I know.
you know, I will say the Broncos were a team that I kept saying
They had
you
hype.
really had your doubts in me, but I'm like, they were always up in the upper. The Seahawks deserve, I think, out of the two, surprised me less because they just had a damn good year.
They've got such a young team too. They have
Yes.
a lot of young, great players, and Darnold's had a good year.
But I say the Broncos, I didn't think it happened, but I kept saying
I thought
they're at the
playoff
top.
team-
No,
I thought
I-
playoff team. I didn't think like #1 seed, and it's like, yeah, I mean,
Right,
they got
right.
a
Dude,
great
that
That's
Will,
it.
yeah,
It's
Will
more so
nailed
that.
it. I knew they were going to have a good year. Everyone was saying they were going to have a year, but to be the #1 like that is the more surprising part. I knew
It's
they'd
the
have
more
a good year.
surprising part.
It is, but I mean, look at that bracket. I mean, there's no Chiefs.
Yeah,
No Chiefs.
I
That's
know
the
how
crazy
pretty is
part.
it. I loved getting this ready for the episode today, and I'm like, look how pretty
I will
that is.
say though, and when you look at the AFC teams making the playoffs, the Patriots and the Jaguars are the two big like new surprise additions. As like if you looked at them a year
Well,
ago,
and I think the Texans, yes, the
But the Texans get
Panthers,
the benefit of, like-
Panthers to me are one of them too.
but the Panthers and the Texans get the benefit of a weak division.
But
Like,
see,
there's
we-
not much
we-
of like your second place team is going to be a wild card team,
Right.
You know, like the Chargers are the wild card team, second to the Broncos. The Jaguars are a division winner. You know,
Doug, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, but see, of course, the Jaguars do well the year. We were all hoping and still expecting them to do terrible, and there they are. So,
and he didn't even cut his hair.
yeah, he never cut his hair.
You didn't get to make any jokes about that this season.
Nope, I'm the joke. I'm the joke this year.
To get the punchline, you got to go watch last season, unfortunately.
It was a good bit for a while there. I'll admit. It was a good bit. It really worked in our favor, but boy, it burned out quick this year. We needed that mojo this year.
Yeah,
you're
right. And that's what's funny is the Browns' first-round draft pick is the Jaguars. I open up the season by saying the only thing we're rooting for this year is the Jaguars to lose, and they have the greatest season they've had in the last decade.
And the irony is they did it all without Travis Hunter, who they drafted. So who gives a shit? Once again, another Colorado buff that didn't turn out to be what we thought he'd be.
So let's get into then our predictions for the season.
Postseason now.
Well,
You get to say that now.
Yes, the playoff bracket more than anything. Checking it out here, we've got the Rams and the Panthers kicking it off.
It is so good
4:30.
on the NFL to get the bad game out first.
Yes. Well, because the Rams are just going to slap them around.
They're like 10.5-point favorites.
Really?
Yeah. Like it is a very wide margin. Yeah, I mean, taking Rams. I'm just taking Rams. Kudos to the Panthers. I mean, great year.
Yeah.
For them. I mean, like 8-9, like people are going to scoff at that, but hey, at the end of the day, you won your division. And a year or two ago, they thought, wow, could probably be one of the worst teams in the league again this year.
I think points will be scored. It'll be, something to be seen early on, first quarter, but by halftime, you're going to see Rams are dominating. The biggest game of Saturday for sure, and I think maybe even kind of the week. This is one of the games I'm most excited for. Packers-Bears. Packers have just been holding on to this season by their fingertips, but made it in by a hair thread. And the Bears have shown to have their number, but this isn't going to be easy for them to pull it out. And the Packers, they travel. Is this a home game, I think, for the Bears, right? So the Packers travel. It's a rivalry game. This is going to be a very exciting game.
I'm taking Bears. I'm giving them the home field advantage.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be, it's supposed to be unbelievably windy. It's supposed to be like 30-mile-per-hour wind.
I'm going with the Bears,
And
for
I'm
sure.
going to go with the Bears. I'm just going to give them that kind of home field. You don't.
Well, not
quite
even that. They
get
won
it.
the last time. I do think they are the better team. Like the Packers have shown to be a team that can pull out a surprise at the end of the game. So don't
Alex,
count them
real
out.
Quick, you say that, but let's remember the Browns beat them.
Well, sure. We also beat the Steelers, and both of them are in the playoffs, and we lost to the Titans and the Dolphins. So I revoke your statement. And we lost to the Jets.
Again, please strike the Doug comment from the episode. Going to the Sunday games,
Objection.
Sunday Football Review, Bills, Jaguars.
I'm taking Jags.
I am too.
I'm
I
not
am
even
too.
meaning to go against Josh, but
It's
the Jags, not to cut you off, they're
Ugh.
the
You say that a
NFC's
lot.
Bears.
But we need
You
them
know what
to
I mean?
lose, guys.
Here's what I'll say. The Jags are the better team. If it was the Bills of 3 years ago,
Right.
I don't think they win.
No, I don't.
This Bills team this year is holding that space because the shell of what they've had is still there, but it's hollow. It isn't what it always was.
It really depends on if you're getting superhero Josh or just pretty all right Josh.
Right.
Like that's really going to come down to it. And I think the Jaguars are just a very solid overall team.
Overall, offense, defense.
I don't think there's any big name superstars really on the team. I just think it's a very solid,
But it's solid.
offense. They, like you mentioned it weeks ago, they remind me of the 2020 Browns.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a very solid, competent team.
Now, this is going to be a dogfight.
I have no idea.
The favors got to lean in the Eagles. They are they're the returning champs. They have risen to the occasion of all the teams this season in the tough game, limelight, put on the stage when it matters. That's when the Eagles thrive. And that's actually even more so when the 49ers bottom out.
And it's a home game.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing too.
Especially those Eagles fans.
I think I looked before this. I think it's like a 5.5 point spread in favor of the Eagles. I'm going to take the Eagles. I think if I were to bet though, I think I'd take the 49ers spread. I think it'd be like a field goal game.
I could see that. It's going to be a close game.
It strikes me as like a 23-20.
Yes.
game
Oh no,
like
this is one of your upper echelon.
Better games.
Yes.
Sure.
Chargers, Patriots. It's got to be the Patriots. But the Chargers, this ragtag team of like they show up one day and they're a superstar, and then the next two games it's like deflated flat tires. So Patriots are the stronger, solid organization this year. They have all the pieces, parts, and there's no off days.
Which, real quick, is just amazing considering, like, they got rid of their coach and all of a sudden turn it around within like a year. Like, it's absurd.
But that's administration.
Yeah,
That's been the first
Good
half of this
ownership,
episode.
really.
We literally had him in our building too.
Yeah, we had Belichick at one point.
No, we had Vrabel.
Oh, Grable.
Man, this is tough. I'm gonna go with the Patriots. I just don't trust Justin Herbert in the playoffs.
That's
and
right,
he's
man.
gonna have all the pressure. Like
Yes.
Drake May has no pressure. Like, what's the pressure?
Yeah.
Like, you just had you're a second year in the league. You've got a great year, kind of a breakout year. Go out and win a game. For Herbert, if you lose this game, you're now 0-4 in the playoffs. It's like Lamar in his playoffs. That sticks with you. That's going to stick with you hard. It's going to really dig into his gut. And I just want to see Jim Harbaugh lose so I could see his stupid, dumb face look like he lost a fish off the end of his line.
Yeah. So let's get to then our Monday football game because Denver and Seattle have the bye. The last game left is going to be the Texans and Steelers. These aren't two powerhouses, so I do think, like amongst the teams we're looking at, so I do think this is going to be a very close, fun game.
Who you got?
I think my gut says the Steelers, but I really, if you were to ask me, if I didn't see who the Steelers were playing, I would have said I really don't see the Steelers going past the first round. They're here, but I don't see them going past it.
I'm with you.
The Texans are a team that give them a chance, and
This is a good matchup for Pittsburgh. I
think it's the perfect matchup for Pittsburgh. And what I'll say is, even if they win, I'm not making an argument. I don't see them going past that game, whoever they're playing.
You'd have to pull up the bracket. Yeah, I don't know who they play again.
But it's Monday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers home. This is their shit.
It's not even just Rodgers. Him and
Tomlin
Tomlin have a great track record on Monday night. It's really
Yes.
weird. They have like some really astronomically
I'm
good
going with the
record on
Steelers,
Monday
man.
night, so I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. And I think this will be like Pittsburgh's first playoff win in like 8 years or something like that, which
Wow.
is like a big complaint out of Pittsburgh about Tomlin. So if they do win, they're going to have the hardest time justifying moving on from Mike Tomlin. It'll be the complete opposite of the John Harbaugh situation. We'll be like, well, now how are you going to argue against it? He won a playoff game with like 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers on Monday Night Football.
Right. So we close it out here before we get to our parlay picks and watching us all have to take our punishments. I do want to briefly just double back so we can have some last minute dialogue about the college football playoff bracket because we kind of left it hanging. We have now kind of a good tell on how this game's going.
It's going how I
It
thought
could go any way in the second half, so we're not going to count it out and make a solid claim. But it pretty much looks like you're probably going to see Indiana versus Miami. Who do you see being the champion?
I mean,
what are your predictions?
Indiana will be the favorite. I am impressed with Miami.
Boy, am I.
Miami's offensive line.
And yesterday showed that.
Miami's offensive line are a bunch of dogs. They are dogs. They do running plays and they're pushing guys 7, 8, 9, 10 yards down the field. Those are some big hosses. They've got big running backs. It'd be a great story for Carson Beck to end his career because I don't think he's going to be much of a pro quarterback. I think Mendoza will be. So it'll be the true prototypical college football playoff kind of championship where you have a guy who's known for having a great collegiate career as a quarterback, Carson Beck, versus a guy who's like Heisman Trophy winner, great college career, probably going to go on to be the number 1 pick and have a pretty solid pro career, predictably, in a college football playoff championship. Indiana just doesn't make mistakes. And that's what we're seeing here watching this game. They capitalize on every mistake you make. I think Miami is a team that does make mistakes, kind of like Oregon. Like, they're good teams, but they're faulty. Look at Ohio State. I mean, Julian Saban started throwing pick sixes near the end of the year. Those come back to bite you. You don't see Mendoza do that. It will be an interesting matchup, though, because of that, the physicality of Miami. But I'm going to stick with Indiana to win this whole thing.
Well, the whole time you're talking,
I know,
the thing that's enhancing your point to the nth degree is they're like cutting through like a hot knife through butter.
And
just
that's the thing.
marching down the field.
I'm looking at your face while I'm going through this, and the whole time he's just like, what is going on? It's like
well, no, dude, the perfect. Like, I wish I could share the screen and not get sued by these television companies. But as you're saying it, the Indiana wide receiver there's a flag on a 30-yard bomb down the field. And I'm like, oh, who's the flag going to be on?
Indiana
And another
just scored.
touchdown. So
Indiana just scored.
28-7.
It is funny.
I think it's safe to say.
And that's the thing. I think Indiana just seems destined to win this championship.
Dude, the play was a 30-yard bomb. You see the wide receiver have this miraculous catch, flag on the play. And as you're saying, they capitalize on the mistakes of like the other team. Oregon, good team. They'll capitalize on them. The cornerback is like the jersey is like this, and he catches it one arm, just whoop, and it's like you're going, and they capitalize on the mistakes. It's like that pass 30 yards and some. Give it that and some, and then 2 plays later, touchdown.
What can I say? Ball knowledge.
Ball knowledge.
And that's
Ball
the thing. It just feels like Indiana's destined to win this championship. I think Miami has a great team. They remind me of the Buckeyes last year, a 2-loss team that just gets unbelievably hot in playoffs and plays very well. This Indiana team, they just don't make mistakes. And like Kurt Signetti, like he's militant. And you can see it. You can see it from the play. It's super funny. He's got like this whole personality. And then you have the quarterback that's a whole different personality. And they just like blend perfectly. Like they're the perfect yin and yang. And it really works out great for them. So it'll be interesting. I'm curious what the line of that game is going to be at, because you're going to make the line probably within an hour after this game if they do end up winning.
Well, I'm sure.
I bet you it'll be like 8.5. I'm just going to take a guess here. I bet you it's going to be like an 8.5. And no, it'll be less. It'll be like 5.5 Indiana.
Yeah, they tend to do that. So let's see. Let's get to our end. This is the misery I've been not too eager to get to. The whole purpose of our show is to make you money. We want to do our parlay picks of the week. And as you saw at the beginning of the episode, Doug had to do his ice because he's got 2 this episode. So for week 18, wasn't it you and Doug that lost? And that's why you have to drink this week. And then for week 19, it was me and Doug who lost. So that's why me and Doug have to drink. Doug already did his at the beginning of the episode. So keep it over here on me, Doug. And we're going to do our punishments. You have to come over into this frame. So again, the whole purpose of this is to make you money. We're trying to incentivize the studio here to deliver on our promise.
Hey, cheers to the last one of the year.
Wait, we got at least 1 or 2 more.
good.
Wait, we go to the Super Bowl.
We're gonna win.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying.
We're winning out. The last one of the year.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is we're gonna have a compilation at the end of the season. Mark this, as we have probably 3 more that follow this.
The playoffs. Yeah, it's the last one.
It's the last. It's the last one. Man, those suck. Those are miserable. You survived it.
I was the slowest, but that one felt better than the first one.
Probably wasn't as damn cold.
He lubricated it with the first one. So, again, the whole purpose of the live show, the parlay pick, is to make you money. Get in on this because I do think this week we really got ourselves a successful one. So, our parlay picks going into week 19. This one I really do think we're delivering on. I'm going with 40-plus receiving yards. Brian Thomas Jr. for the Jags. Will is going 250-plus passing yards by Matt Stafford. And then Doug, his favorite, as always, complaining about it. DeAndre Swift rushing and receiving. We're going 70-plus yards. Get in on that and make yourself some money. But otherwise, guys, we appreciate you joining us. I know it's not Sunday, but we will still have our Sunday reaction show at per normal.
Indiana has the ball
again. Oh, my gosh. And Mendoza has just been.
If I was him, though, I would have gone down right there.
Yeah,
at this point, don't get injured. But just go down.
Well, he's not thinking that way.
I know.
Because, dude, for 2 quarters now, they haven't been able to touch him. Bro's extending it 5 yards at least every time.
Yeah. If I was Signetti at this point, I'd just pull him aside and be like, hey, if you think you're about to get hit, go down.
But hey, who was the Buckeyes player that on the first play snapped like his?
Oh, I forget who it was, but yeah.
Are you talking about during the Florida
Fiesta
game
Bowl or
all those
something
years ago?
No. It was even before that. It was like the Fiesta Bowl. I'm
Against
talking
Florida?
like 15 years ago.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
AJ Hawk.
No.
It was Ginn. Was it
Yes,
Ginn?
that was it. Teddy Ginn Jr.
Yeah.
It was like
On
our
the kickoff.
most kickoff return.
Kickoff against Urban Meyer's Florida.
And he got the touchdown.
Yeah,
but then he
and
broke
then
himself.
all the
on
players
his own.
jumped on him, and he broke his leg.
So again, there's something to be said. I know this doesn't apply the same, but like Teddy Ginn Jr. was Teddy Ginn Jr. And he knew he was Teddy Ginn Jr. Like, you know, that inflated ego. So someone like Mendoza is definitely, do not kid yourself, in the back of his mind the whole time, I'm the Heisman Trophy winner.
Oh, I'm that guy. I'm literally destined by God to win this national championship. Like, that's exactly what he's thinking.
Mommy.
Yes.
Mommy, we are going to win.
Mommy, I freaking did it. Speaking of Ted Ginn, though, apparently Columbus is getting like a UFL league or like a UFL team, and Ted Ginn is a coach.
Oh,
Ted
that's
Ginn Jr. is
cool.
a coach.
Yeah,
I did
but
see news about
where's
that.
this
Good
team
marketing.
gonna play? I've seen that too, but UFL I thought
Captains.
has to be an arena.
Yeah, captains.
Like,
Did
No,
you hear
no,
me?
no, I don't-
Captains.
I don't think it's for whatever the league, the XFL or whatever the hell it's
Yeah.
called. Like
Oh,
that league. It's like-
XFL
it's
would
like
be
that
cool.
league. It's like that.
But I
other
thought
league that
those
starts.
leagues required a covered stadium because they played in the
Captains. Are you hearing me? I think
No,
that's like
no,
the
I don't
fifth time I've said that to you.
Captains where? What?
I'll look it up. I forget.
Doug, you've gone to one of their games.
Captains?
Baseball team?
Yeah. Well, I'm
The Lake Erie
confused.
No.
Captains?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up. The UFL, yeah, he's a head coach of the Columbus Aviators for the UFL League. Apparently, that's a new team that's starting this year in the UFL. So,
Where are they playing?
I have no idea what stadium they're playing in, but I saw the news about a month ago because I
Huh.
was thinking about that too. It's like state championships, and obviously Ted Ginn Senior,
Yeah.
Glenville, they won their state championship again. I was like, I wonder what he's doing, and I googled his name, and he's the head coach of this team now. And I thought, hey, good for you, man.
Hey,
Cool.
beat
That's
it.
actually cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. hell.
So it's funny you brought him up. I figured I just had.
Yeah. Hey. So as we were closing out here, we've got our reaction show on Sundays. So be sure to join us again as normal. We'll be live continuing the part 2 of the 2026 sequels. You could plan doing our movie reviews and getting some hype and excitement for closing out the movies coming into 2026. So if you haven't seen it, catch up with part 1, and then we'll be finishing it up on part 2 live on Sunday. But we have all kinds of shows. We got the podcast and our live Rethink Tank show across different channels and platforms. So if you're looking for one central place where you could find it, it's at our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. But with all that being considered, if we made you laugh, we made you think, if you enjoyed this evening of football fun with us, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss us in the future. But again, we're in a fight against algorithms, and the best you could do to support us, if you liked it, then someone else you know will too. So please share our episode and help us out. But otherwise, like I said, we're here each week. So be sure to catch us next week for week 20, and hopefully no ices. Doug doesn't have to double up. Catch you next week. Peace.